Go
Only
eat
if
some food.
only if Korea launches a nuclear attack on Redmond.
Wow.
Okay, we're live.
Did you hear that, live people?
I,
Um, okay.
We're just waiting for Eric and Jeff.
I started using Ecamm Live, and I've done 2 live broadcasts of one of my podcasts to just try it out and see how it works. And I thought, I do live for other people's podcasts. Why not my own? So it's been interesting.
I'm on vacation next week. Staycation. That's one of my goals to do that.
Nice. Do not turn on echo control or whatever it's called. It will mess up your mics.
I'll have to I'll take a picture for you, Chuck. We have a golf car at the lake.
Ooh.
Oh, cool. Cool.
So there's another reason you have to be there, so we can drive around the neighborhood, and it's all styled up. It's got headlights, turn signals, a big, great little sound system.
I'll let you ask Cindy about riding with me in a golf cart. She refuses to do it.
Oh my.
Well,
she says
it
she
doesn't have
says that
place for golf clubs. It goes flat.
Yeah, but she kind of says that I'm a little bit out of control.
Oh, you want to get your ball.
Speaking about a little bit out of control. Hey, Jeff.
Jeff Gammett.
Yeah, Jeff Gammett.
And Ben Rathick is here.
You can't hear it.
We can't hear you.
We can't hear you.
This is the best Jeff possible. You see him? We just can't hear him.
Jeff is saying
Wow.
he has jumped ship
Wow,
to
Joe.
Android.
That's a good one.
And
Joe.
we'll have the most
Joe.
controversial episode ever. And he started wearing pants.
And anyhow, and that's when I realized Chuck didn't have his pants on. And oh, hey, everyone, hey,
Hey.
hi, yeah.
Chuck's not denying it.
That's true. You're
There's
right.
no point.
There is no point. There is no point.
Well,
Eric
I'm
says you traveled, right? He's at a hotel. Marty.
Pardon? Yeah, Eric said he was somewhere coming to a hotel.
All right.
Mm.
So give him a couple minutes and maybe he can join.
Hey, Dave,
Hey, Jeff.
I just found a typo
Where?
on your YouTube.
Oh crap.
So
I typed it wrong.
In Touch with iOS episode
I see a
31,
J.
there's a J in Touch.
Oh man. Oh well. I can't change it now.
It's the traditional Old English spelling.
Yeah, well.
Hmm.
It's my typo spelling.
Didn't Teams clear that up for you?
Yes, thy
Isn't
shalt be
AI
talking
supposed to-
about thy apple today.
So who's
isn't
the
AI
new
supposed
kid?
to fix this?
I know this guy Ben.
Never heard of him.
Same.
Yeah, he keeps saying he was like some big hot shot who worked for Kelly Lewis or something.
Mm.
I don't believe it.
Who's that?
Luria to you. It's a sore subject for Ben.
You know you're
Speaking-
a nerd when all of a sudden your integration at work kicks in and you say, "Oh, I can't wait to see the results."
Yeah. Speaking of sore, Chuck, how you feeling?
Why?
Wow. Chuck, the only reason I make these jokes with you is because, well,
I
first
get
I
'em.
get looks like that, but then second, you're always such a good sport.
Well, I'm happy to be a good sport if I understood the jokes, but
Well, they're coming from me,
And-
so
unless
know.
I go to very, very, very dark places, which I can't believe
is
even
fair.
you would go.
I can draw you a picture.
No, thank
No
you.
pictures.
Hello,
Eric's like,
Brian.
please, no pictures.
Hello, Brian in the chat. How you doing? Thanks for being here with Rebecca.
Hey,
AKA
Brian.
Jill's
Weather?
brother is here.
He's like my only fan. He shows up in my live show. I have
I
one
know.
person.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
That's really nice.
it is nice.
Oh, Brian's working late today. That's okay. Thanks for jumping in just to say hi. All right. Let me get going here. We got everybody here. I can do this. How you doing, Eric?
Mostly okay, I think. Working.
And
Hopefully you can hear me.
Yeah,
Yep.
you sound,
Can hear you.
you're fine.
Yep.
Yes.
You're fine.
Eric,
I
I
would-
think you showed up just in time to hear me say, speaking of sores, how you feeling, Chuck?
Oh Lord, I got a palm on that one. All right, check 1, 2,
Yeah,
test.
just
That
in
looks
time.
good. Just in
Yeah,
time.
just in time, Eric.
Just in time. All right. I am ready to go. In 5, 4, 3, 2. Welcome to episode 381 of In Touch with iOS, this show that talks about iPhone, iPad, Apple Watch, Apple TV, and Vision Pro, Mac, and related technologies. How you doing? And I'm Dave Ginsburg. Oh, a little tongue-tied there, but I want to welcome back Ben Rathick. He's here. It's been it's been a minute. How you doing?
Yeah. I mean, first, I would not believe that rumor that I'm here.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, I
Second,
don't.
yeah, if that rumor was true, I'm doing pretty good.
All right.
Rumor has it I'm actually on this show tonight.
You are. I'm very happy you are. And we're all happy to see you. Also here, Jill McKinley. How you doing, Jill?
Doing great. It is almost Friday.
It is. It's almost Friday. And it's been a long week for, I think, some of us. Lots of work, but great to see you. Also great to see Marty Jensius. How you doing, Marty?
I spent all day working on syllabi for the classes I'm teaching coming up in 2 weeks.
Oh,
And
that's fun.
tedious work. At the same time, I had on one screen the Osbournes I Want to Believe. So they were apparently doing a marathon all day long, so I could jump from the Osbournes to my syllabi.
No, we'll be seeing a lot of
They're
that. So
on.
we'll be seeing that. All right. Let's also here, Chuck Joyner. Thank you for being here, Chuck. How you doing?
I'm good, Dave. I'm glad I'm here among friends, or at least people I thought are friends or were friends. I'm not quite sure based on the pre-show.
I'm sad
but
now.
I do have to wonder if paranoid is going to show up somewhere in Marty's syllabi.
Mm. You have to
Quite
remember,
possibly.
paranoia will destroy you.
All right.
I see what you did there.
I don't think Jeff is paranoid, but Jeff Gammon, I'm so glad you're here. How you doing?
Dave, just because you think they're out to get you, first, it doesn't mean you're wrong, and it doesn't necessarily mean you're paranoid.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm doing well. I'm happy to be here, and honestly, I feel really lucky because I get to do multiple podcasts every week, and I get to hang out with really cool people on each show. Also, Chuck is amazingly tolerant, and I love you for that, Chuck.
Yes, I am.
No, there's no denying it. What you put up with, I'm sorry, Chuck.
That's
I mean,
all right.
some.
That's all right. If I'm here for you, Jeff. If if that helps you through your day, I'm right there.
You have no
And
idea.
then last but certainly not least, Eric Bolden's here. Looks like he's in a different location. How you doing, Eric?
Not too bad. I'm feeling like my face has grown big and
Yeah,
swollen
you're
for some
filling
reason.
that screen. You're filling that screen for those watching the video.
And I have no control to fix that.
It's okay. But we're still glad you're here, so appreciate it. So yeah, we got plenty to talk about this week. Some beta discussion, as well as Vision Pro discussion and Mac discussion, and some news. And we're going to probably touch on a little bit of the news that happened this week with Apple and the government. So we'll talk about that in a bit. But meanwhile, as we always do, we'll start with Vision Pro. In touch with Vision Pro, they did release the developer beta of beta 5 of Vision OS 26. And what's new? I'd like to hear what Marty says that's new, because the personas are definitely a big improvement. Anything else you found?
Yeah, I played around with it yesterday and did a pro note on it last night. Beta 5 is the latest beta for developers. and it really doesn't add much in. You're not going to see new things come into the environment. And Eric might know this, I have not been able to find the Jupyter environment yet. So even though we're on beta 5, they hadn't added that component in. There's no real new user visible features from beta 4 to beta 5, so don't expect to find it. Beta 5 pairs with Xcode 26 beta 5 to assure alignment with the SDK. Incremental UI and accessory fixes, you'll see improvements. And they say this could be the final seed, the final QA testing ahead of the public release of it. So I think they're all gearing up for that. Whether that means we're going to get another version of the Vision Pro come out sometime this fall or not, don't know. But that's the story.
That's still up in the air. How was the personas for you, Eric? Did you get to try them out?
It's great. It's so much more realistic. I feel like I'm in a hotel room. It's just
And you are.
yeah, they added a bunch of options for people wearing glasses. So you can adjust your glasses up or down. You can make the lenses a little bit bigger or smaller. You can adjust the width on the frames or wipe the frames out. So that was a big change from the previous beta.
Okay. Yeah, I installed it as well and tried it out. I didn't like Marty. I didn't see much of a difference, but it seems a lot more stable. So I think not that the other versions weren't too bad. Only beyond when I had my problem when it crapped out and had to get it reinstalled at the Apple Store. But beyond that, it's been pretty solid since that ordeal. Yeah, it is working pretty well here. So then a couple things here I want to hit real quick here is the Vision. There's some top Vision OS apps for artists and designers, unleashing your creativity in spatial computing. Apple Vision Pro does it without Vision OS has transformed another frontier for artists and designers, blending digital and physical worlds through spatial computing. And they have come up with some. So there are some apps out there now. One of them is DaVinci Eye. Have you tried this, Eric or Marty? DaVinci Eye?
No.
It's a trailblazing AR art projector app that leverages Vision Pro's pass-through feature to overlay reference images onto any surface, revolutionizing how artists sketch and paint for illustrators, muralists, and hobbyists. This might be right up your alley, Jeff. Eliminates the need for physical projections or awkward phone stands. The app supports the diverse of mediums from canvas painting to cake decorating, and aids accessibility for visually impaired artists with an intuitive interface. And it goes through and talks about how to set it up. And this looks like a really cool app. I want to I didn't even download it yet, so I think we got one here, the guys. Let's get it on our Vision Pros, huh?
Yeah. Is this? Do you know if it's developed by the DaVinci?
It must be
Resolve folks. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna find the link of the app and because it isn't in this article here, but another good reference of Apple Magazine here. Procreate Dreams is animating in a 3D space. It's an extension of the beloved iPad app, and it brings intuitive drawing and animation tools to Vision OS. Tailored for spatial computing, artists can create 2D animations and illustrations in a 3D environment, leveraging Vision Pro's hand tracking and eye tracking for fluid control. Robust brush library and layer system makes it a favorite for illustrators, animators, and mixed reality. You being the artist, Jeff, what do you think of this? This is it's got some good stuff, huh?
This is super cool, and these are the kind of apps that I've been really looking forward to seeing on Vision Pro. And now I'm really looking forward to when Chuck buys me one so that I can start making Vision Pro art.
Yes.
So give me a discount for 2, Jeff. We can talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll work on that, Chuck.
Work on that one.
That's all we can do is talk, but we can talk.
Oh yeah.
Another cool app, Marty, or Eric. What's your thoughts on these?
What I didn't hear. What did you say, David?
What's your thoughts on this app for
Well,
the Procreate Dreams?
Procreate has been an artist app for quite a long time. To see that it's porting over into Vision Pro is really exciting because I think it will allow for more dimensional kinds of work.
Yeah, for sure. Anything for
And,
you, Eric?
we're waiting for
sorry.
Muse. We're waiting for Muse.
Yeah.
And that Logitech pencil that's supposedly going to help us do all that stuff too.
Yeah, true. Any thoughts, Eric, on this?
I'm still stuck on cake decorating. I'm thinking it's going
So you might be
to be
just
good for
sticking with
cookies, too.
Da Vinci for the moment.
Yeah,
and I'm
the
not gonna-
cake
there's co-
decorating
Well,
part, it's like, seriously?
Yeah.
But
That's interesting.
anyhow,
There's a couple other apps. I'll just mention them briefly here. Reality Composer, which builds 3D worlds. Adobe Fresco, which was painting with spatial depth. And then Runaway ML, a AI-driven design animation. So there's a number of other artist apps. This is exciting. I can see that this could attract more designers in general. Wouldn't you think, Jeff? I think this is something that I have not seen this until this article this week. So
yeah. This is the kind of stuff, seriously, that I'm getting really excited or wow, no. Right words, wrong order. This is the kind of stuff that gets me really excited about where we can go with this technology. We've seen stuff like this with other VR headset things, but now getting stuff like this on Vision Pro, where you're already catering to an audience that has a higher likelihood of being artistic and creative.
Mhm.
I think there's so much more that we're going to be able to do. And I am very much looking forward to seeing what ends up happening with this. And I'm looking forward to seeing what happens when someone figures out how to do a full art exhibit with content created in this way, and you view it by putting on a Vision Pro headset.
Yeah, this changes a lot of the ways in which we can use creativity apps, in the sense that you think of some of these apps, and I mean, Procreate was one of those, and DaVinci was another, where you're dealing basically in 2 dimensions. And if an artist wanted to do something that was 3-dimensional, they'd have to go from a digital framework to more of a real, a sculpting kind of framework to do it. That was the natural transitions that they could do that with. Jeff might be more familiar with this than I am, but I think this is really a step into, okay, let's do spatial art.
Yes.
Which you haven't been able to create on other devices yet. But now with the support of these applications, you can create them and create these kinds of installations. So what Jeff was talking about, I think, is just a whole new dimension of art.
yeah,
Not only that, but if Apple were to give Vision OS the same kind of development tools that exist on the Mac, I mean, just imagine the type of 3D apps that can be created now. I mean, you're not seeing that 3D app in a 2D context anymore. You're basically creating a full 3D world real time.
Yep. Anything else anybody want to add, Jill or Chuck?
I think it's great. I mean, I have tried some art classes on another model of Vision, and it was clumsy and it was hard to deal with, but I love the future that someday you're going to be able to stand in an art class and get an education on how to create art. My brother is the only artistic human being in my family, and I would love to learn more. And I think that this is the way.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to throw in one thing too.
Please do.
You were laughing about the cake decorating, but that to me is sort of going to be one of the great things the Vision Pro can be for. the idea that you don't have to use up consumables
Right.
to learn things and play with things and experiment with things. And it sounds like it's such an obvious thing, but I think a lot of us forget about that, this can be a different kind of prototyping or practice without wasting money on things that, especially edibles, that you don't want to throw it away. So I love the idea that we're starting to see some of these things, and I'm anxious to see what decorations Eric comes up with.
Yeah, we want to see
And
it.
they're doing that right now in things like surgery training and engineering.
Right. Cars.
Exactly. But that sounds so, up here, and cake decorating brings it way down
Oh, yeah.
to be much more approachable. So yeah, it feels like, again, such an obvious thing, but I'm afraid people are looking at the surgery, Ben, and the engineering and thinking, well, that's great for those people, but what goes it to me?
Mm-hmm.
Well, learning's learning.
Yeah.
Right, Marty?
Yeah.
So they tell me.
Oh my gosh. All right. So that's a good taste of stuff that happened with Vision Pro this week that we discovered. Let's go ahead and move on and talk about beta. Apple did release iOS 26 beta 5 for the iPhone. And it really has this update is described as more of a delivers a stunning new design, powerful Apple Intelligence capabilities, and new ways to stay connected in the iPhone Messages app, and all the stuff we've talked about here. But it does have notably it's added some opaqueness to some of the more transparent tab bars, alongside with some new wallpaper colors. And Beta 4 added reverted the opaqueness tweaks. Meanwhile, Notification Center still uses absolute transparency when being pulled down and fully open. That seems ripe for a changing. So we're looking for some design changes here. Anybody here who is running beta 5? Did you notice anything, Ben? Yeah, go ahead.
First, I say this all the time, but I'm an idiot. Do not run betas like I do.
We all do.
Yep. And two, I mean, we're still at the point where they're trying to dial in liquid glass.
Yep.
So they're making little changes here and there about every beta.
Yep.
I downloaded it.
Go ahead, Jill. Go ahead.
I would say I downloaded it, and I did notice some less glassy things in places that I thought needed some definition, and so it does look better.
And I go the other way. To me, it looks more liquidy. I mean, on all my devices, like on the screen of my, when I put in my passcode, it really looks like glass, versus kind of this fuzzy, cloudy attempt at a translucent kind of button. It really, it's been pretty striking, and I've kind of had to sit with it and go, so this is going to be the new look. Not in a bad way, but sort of in an acceptance way. This is going to be the new look.
Yep. And then moving on to iPad OS, nothing real notable noticing it. I'm still loving the snap windows, and I show that to everybody that because we've done a big deployment of iPads at work, and I'm really excited to show that off because I'm hoping we'll get that soon after that it's released. But I'm sure we'll be testing it for a while before it goes nationwide here. But yeah, that's probably one of the more exciting features on iPad OS. Anybody excited about anything else on iPad OS for iPad OS 26? Marty,
Dave,
Ben?
I can share something with you that's working correctly now.
Okay.
When you have an app in its own window, and you tap the traffic lights, of course, it's supposed to pop up and get bigger for you.
Right.
And it's been very inconsistent until the beta that came out this week.
I just noticed that because I just tried it today.
Yeah, that's working consistently for me. The other bugs that I've been encountering, I haven't had a chance to really test to see if they're fixed. But one of the things that I've been dealing with a lot of apps, when you bring up the on-screen keyboard, it doesn't work or it won't get out of the way. The on-screen keyboard has been very buggy for me in iPad OS. So hopefully that has been addressed.
Yeah, I didn't notice anything too bad. Did anybody else do? Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, the background processing, that seems to be noticeably helpful. Yeah, there were cases before where you would be in the middle of doing something, switch out of the app, do something else, and then switch back to the app to find out that whatever it is you're doing didn't happen and it stopped.
Mhm.
So being able to have continue to run in the background, it's a nice change. It seems to be a little more reliable now than it in the earlier betas.
Yep, definitely. And then a bunch of other updates. We have WatchOS 26 Beta 5 rolled out. Nothing notable there that was released. A public beta hasn't come out just yet, at least on the WatchOS. And we've talked a lot about what's on there. Nothing really big to say about that. As well as tvOS Beta 5 is out for tvOS 26. And we also have the public betas that were just released this week as well. So now the public beta testers, that's beta 2 for them and beta 5 for developers. And interesting that there is some notable things that were found. There's a redesign of the AirDrop icon in iOS 26. If you know, Apple tends to update every home screen app icon and in iOS 26 and as a beta 5, and there's a new redesigned for the AirDrop icon. Previously, the previous version consisted of just a blue dot with 3 blue semicircles, in a white background. The new version is using blue as the primary icon color with layers of opaque glass-like material to show the radar effect of around the much more physical-looking blip. All right, I need Jeff to translate this for me. What do you think of this icon? Have you looked at it?
Yes, and based on the description you just read, I just pulled it back up because I'm like, this does not sound like the icon that I have seen. But looking at it, I get why they're describing it that way. There's nothing about the AirDrop icon in any version that Apple has ever created that has indicated to me in any way that this is something you tap to transmit data of some form to someone else's device. And that holds true with the new AirDrop icon. It is so wonderfully indescript that it means nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, it looks pretty close to the podcast icon in design.
It does kind of have that look. Now that I'm looking at it a little closer, it kind of has that Illuminati feel that you get from dollar bills with the pyramid with the eye on top.
So you're saying each Apple icon is now a clue that when you use in conjunction with the piece phrases written in the Constitution will help Nicolas Cage find a treasure.
Right. National Treasure 5 coming our way in Apple.
I know. Yep. I just found a bug. This is one that a lot of people probably wouldn't notice, but to me, it hurts so bad to see this. I question how it could have happened. So I brought up the share pane in the Photos app. So the same share pane you would get anywhere else. And it gives you the list of like recent iMessage chats you've had. If someone has a name that has too many characters to fit on one line, it breaks the name apart and just wraps it to the next line, and it's all centered. So in this case, I'm looking at a name where it has one character too many. And so there's the whole last name except for the last letter of their last name, which is centered on its own line. That is horrible and is something that should never happen.
Yes. So if you have a German last name, good luck.
Yeah, German, French. Yeah.
I all have friends with short names, so it's not working for me, but yeah.
Yep. Anything else, guys, want to add to that? We can go ahead and move on here. Also, in the 5th beta of iOS 26, Apple upgrades the AirPods charging in iOS 26. Apple's appeared to have subtly upgraded the AirPods charging code in iOS 26. Says that the AirPods charging case is more clearly indicates charging status, and that the AirPods will remind you when it's time to charge. There's a screenshot showed in this article that was shared on most social media that with the same wording on here. It says on here, charging AirPods. The AirPods charging case now more clearly indicates charging status, and the AirPods will remind you when it's time to charge. And then it goes through and shows this as a visual. The charging case already has that amber light when it needs to be charged and a green light when it's full charge. But when the AirPods case is open, the AirPods are inside. There is a green light that means that the AirPods are fully charged, and an amber light means that there's less of a charge or a full charge remaining. It may be the amber light indicates that the AirPods charging case needs to be topped up. So this is a little confusing, I think, but glad to see that they're addressing some of the confusions in general. You hear the ding ding when the AirPods aren't charging or they need to be charged sometimes. At least I experienced that. But good to see that they're doing some improvements on that. Any thoughts on that at all?
Yeah. Doesn't help me. I'm colorblind.
That's true.
So I can't tell the difference between an amber or a green light. So I just keep them plugged in all the time.
Okay. I'm totally jumping in, even though whatever. I'm totally jumping in. Marty, you brought up a place where Apple could really do something different. And you'd think they would, because they've been so pro accessibility. Why would they not include different flash patterns to go with the different colors, so that if you're colorblind, you can still tell what the activity is based on the flash patterns of the lights?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's something they can actually change in firmware.
Yeah, just like they're doing with the new color stuff. Yeah.
Yep. Anybody else want to add anything to that?
Good job.
Right.
Yeah.
Unless you're sensitive to flashing lights.
Right.
That.
Oh, boy.
CarPlay in iOS 26 has a new and improved solution for phone calls. After years of minimal changes in CarPlay, it's getting a huge update this fall among all the variety of big and small new features in iOS 26. CarPlay has now a much improved solution for how incoming phone calls are handled. If you get many phone calls, you're likely to encounter a dilemma while you're driving. You're navigating somewhere and with the maps, and then we're guiding you the way, and then a phone call comes in, and in some cases it isn't a big deal, but you answer or decline the call, then you can't get back. You can want to get back to the navigation quickly. But there's been some situations where calls have arrived at a critical navigation moment where it's very much needed on the map screen.
Mm-hmm.
And iOS 18 and earlier phone calls unfortunately hijack the entire display, as we know, and letting it see nothing until you're done with the call or decline it. But in iOS 26 and CarPlay, long overdue solution. CarPlay now gains a new compact view of an incoming call. In iOS 26, that means that you will be able to see who's calling and make an unrushed decision about whether or not to answer without missing out any upcoming directions. So it's kind of like the little bar that comes across when you have a window up on your iPhone. This design is definitely, like I said, is definitely identical to the iPhone's own compact calls that comes up. So good to see you're getting some improvements there, because I never liked that full screen on when a call comes in
right.
each time on CarPlay, right?
I missed an exit that way.
Oh, did
Yeah.
you? So this
Yeah.
this is very valid. This is very valid information.
This
literally.
This worked this weekend for me when I was
good.
driving around and taking phone calls. It was really nice to see the phone calls came in through that minimized version, so I could continue to know where my route was.
Yep.
Yeah.
I had a
else?
call come in. Oh, go ahead.
I have literally had this a call come in at an exact wrong time while traveling that caused me to have to go on about a 25-mile detour.
Oof.
Yeah.
That
So
hurts.
this is something I've literally wanted for years, especially with the way that the new home screen kind of looks the same, but it is more widgetized and
Yeah.
it's great.
Mhm.
Yep. Anybody else
I
want to
had
add
a-
anything to this?
The only thing I had a complaint about, because I did get a call with this and I saw it and I thought, oh, that's really nice. And then I realized it was a potential spam call. And I wondered why the same filter that works on my phone where it's immediately silenced, but it came up with the notifications, it showed me the thing, and I thought it really needs to follow the same rules the phone does. But that's my only complaint, but it's really nice otherwise.
Yeah, I'm hoping that it's just a beta stage thing there.
Yeah.
Yeah, agree. Okay. And I want to talk a little about Cletus, one of our friends, listener of the show, reached out to me and had a bit of an issue with his clock because where he lives down in Florida. There's time zones get real close in the panhandle at the very tip of it, where it goes in the Central Time Zone and Eastern Time Zone. So he got messed up and missed a meeting because it didn't automatically change his time. So it showed him to be still in Eastern Time and not Central Time because he was in that area that was Central Time, so he missed it. Or he was late. So the issue was that your time zone cannot be set manually due to service restrictions. So if you go to settings, screen time, change screen time passcode, and then turn off screen time passcode, you can now, you wonder why the time zone cannot be manually changed due to these restrictions. You don't understand this. Why is this happening? So while this error can be disorienting, the solution was straightforward. And what you can do is you basically fix the time zone features here. You just got to ensure that you're on the latest version of iOS, of course, and then restart your iPhone to ensure that the device is there, and then it should come up where you can where you have the preliminary fix that says the time zone cannot be changed manually, device restrictions. So then you got to turn off screen times sharing across devices. If you have that on, you can get that turned off here, and I don't even have that turned on, so I don't even know why I would have that off. And then you got to go back and then turn off the screen time passcode. So it's a little archaic to get this turned off. I don't know this happens to a lot of people, but now at the very end there, you can actually go ahead and turn off the screen time passcode. I'll just link in the show notes for this article, but it's hard to. I had a hard time deciphering through this, but I'm glad Cletus to share this with other folks who get time zone challenged, because it kind of happens here too when if I'm in Chicago and I'm traveling to Indiana. Some of Indiana is in Central Time, and then if you cross any certain spot, it goes right into Eastern Time. So luckily, Wisconsin, Iowa, and all those going that way, where I'm in Central Time, so I'm not challenged.
I do the Ohio, Indiana, Chicago run quite a bit, and what I've noticed is my automobile will tell me a particular time that I'm in. My phone will tell me that I'm in a different time, and my watch will tell me one of those two, which time that I'm in. And I solved the problem simply by asking, because I know New York is in the Eastern Time Zone. So I solved the problem simply by asking the S lady, what time is it in New York? And then I get the time in New York, which allows me to mentally set all the other ones in my head.
Okay, that's a good way to do it.
That just hurts my head, the whole thing.
It really does too. When I read through this, and I'm like, holy cow, this is very, very confusing.
Yeah.
I see an opportunity here. I mean, I think that you have the opportunity to buy 2 Apple Watches, one for the left, one for the right, so that just that way you send one to one time zone, one to the other, and just
stick your arms out in 2 different directions, and you'll be in
you got
2
Eric
different
on that
time
one.
zones.
yeah.
Or better yet, Indiana could split off into 2 states: Indiana, and Chicagoana.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Northwest Indiana. We got you at the face palm there.
I'm sure Brian, who listens to us, is doing the whole dance about Arizona time zones too.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Because it never changes.
And it splits, I think, at Tucson between time zones. So I think there's a lot going on there.
Yeah, there is.
Just get rid of daylight saving or standard time. I don't care which one you get rid of at this point. Just give me one
Yes.
Yes.
and leave
Or
it.
better yet, everybody in the world just changed by half an hour.
That's
that
fine
won't
by me,
confuse
too.
anybody.
Just
give
me
Good
a
Lord.
set time and leave it.
Yeah.
As having been in India where they did just do that and split it and said everything's a half hour different, it is so confusing. So confusing.
Definitely.
Just think what happened here. We have established time zones and we can't keep it straight.
No.
If you start introducing fractions of time zones into it, oh my God.
Mhm.
Luckily, we only have 3 here, so in this case, but yeah. But so check that link out in the show notes if you have that challenge. And it's places where very on the cusp of time zones here. So moving on, one bit of information with AI. OpenAI brings a faster, smarter GPT-5 model to ChatGPT users. This actually was announced today as we're recording. OpenAI today introduced GPT-5, which is the company saying brings a significant leap in intelligence and fewer hallucinations. That's a good word. GPT-5 is supposed to be better at the following instructions, at following instructions and minimizing syncope. I think that's a word. The model offers improved performance across coding, math, writing, health, visual perception, and more. OpenAI says that the GPT-5 is best at coding models to date, with improvements in complex front-end generational and debugging large code repositories. So I just got this today. I didn't try it yet. Marty, did you try this? Because as soon as I launched ChatGPT, it automatically went to 5, and the 4 is gone.
Yeah, I ironically just before the show was trying to do some things through ChatGPT, opened it up, and it was like, oh, we're on 5. I hadn't read this article. I'm glad that they say they're doing something about it. It has improved coding because ChatGPT was taking it on the chin, I think, from coders who were saying that they had problems with ChatGPT and they were relying on other sources AI sources to kind of do their vibe coding with it. So I think this is a good move, a new move, and I think it's also targeting where some of the concerns are about their weaknesses.
Okay. Sorry, my headphones went off my AirPods went off for a minute there. But you did find some good things with it so far.
Yeah, I tried to piece together a couple of articles to be able to have something to talk about on Pro Notes tonight when I do a Pro Note, and it did a really nice job of putting it together.
Okay, great. Have you tried it yet, Chuck? You have ChatGPT.
I did not have access to it this afternoon. I was checking, thinking, okay, when? Come on. But I have read a fair amount on this today. And one of the things that I'm kind of excited about, and I'm anxious to try it, is that up till now we've had all these different models inside ChatGPT, and it's one of those things like, okay, I almost need a cheat sheet that if you do this model, it's best for this. If you do this model, it's best for that. And if I understand it correctly now, ChatGPT itself will determine which model internally. So you never see them, but which one it routes it to. And so you get the best of all worlds. Now that's only after a few articles, and those I'm not sure about and I have not tested it. But if that's the case, I think that's just so good, because we've had a couple conversations on shows the last couple of weeks about the different models that are out there, and even from different companies about which one is best for what. And I like the idea that now, at least with ChatGPT, if this is true, that I will be able to do a query and not have to think, should I do it with this one or that one, and manually change it.
Yeah.
That it'll be smart enough to change it for me and route it to the right place.
Yeah. notably, I saw they do have another model called the GPT-5 Thinking, which is, it says it get more thorough answers. So why wouldn't I want to use that?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
The one thing I liked about it is the personas. So we talked a little bit about Mac stock on this, that I said, I tend to look at the sunny side of things. And so I like to be challenged by the AI to look at what I'm writing and say, challenge me on this. Do I have it right? Do I have it wrong? Am I looking at it, in a way? And one of them was cynic. And so you could change the persona to cynic in some cases. And I bet you could do it in GPTs. I have certain circumstances where I have to write completely emotionless emails to people who get emotionally upset at things. And so now the robot would be great for that. And the nerd is what I'll probably put it on all the other times. But I like this idea of these personalities because I think we need to know which angle it's coming at us with.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody else want to add to this? All right. Let's move on to this In Touch with Mac this week. Mac OS Tahoe 26 is developer beta 5 is out. What is new? You've got it was announced. There's some numerous updates like games apps, and we've talked a lot about what's been out there. So it really was much subtle changes. Marty, did you notice anything? I didn't. I'm running it on my MacBook Air now. And I
No,
didn't notice
I
anything
I
drastic.
have done all the upgrades and don't really
Yeah.
notice much difference.
Eric, anybody else running? Oh, I'm sure Ben is. But did you see anything?
Yeah.
Didn't see anything.
I didn't notice anything new this week. I'm running the beta on my MacBook Air, and it seems fine, and it seems working as usual. So, but nothing new.
Okay.
So connecting between machines seems to be a little bit smoother.
Okay.
And I thought they said they had added a feature, but I haven't had a chance to try it yet, where if you reboot your machine, you can remotely connect to it over SSH and log in and have it finish booting so that you can then, connect to it and do whatever without having to physically get to it. So I'm hopeful, but I have to wait until I get home to try that.
Yeah, for sure. Anybody else want to add anything?
Well, I don't know if it's too early for that, but the one thing I didn't notice is the next bulletin point here.
Mhm.
Oh
yes, let's go on. That's what I was want to get some reaction. We've been talking about icons. We already talked about the AirDrop. Mac OS Tahoe 26 beta now retires the old Macintosh HD icon. This developer beta is now replaced by the old Macintosh HD icon we've known for years and years, is depicted an actual hard disk drive, is now sporting a new SSD looking icon. And there's a picture in the show notes on this article about it. The old icon was a silver metal box with screws, vents, and a warning sticker. Had its good run, but considering Apple hasn't shipped Macs with mechanical drives in quite a while, but today's update, it has been replaced by a sleeker, aluminum-looking enclosure with rounded edges and big Apple logo in the center. I'm going to go to our resident designer, Jeff. What do you think about this?
I had a feeling you're going to ask me about this. This is actually horrible. I mean,
Okay.
it looks like crap. I mean, okay, let's start with the crap part. If you're going to make an icon like this and you have professional designers, why can't they design an icon that doesn't look like it was created with the spatial acuity of a 5-year-old? And I'm not saying that as a slam on 5-year-olds, but if you look at how our brains work, as we develop our ability to do the whole spatial thing, and apply that to what we draw, there's a phase where we draw and three-dimensional images are represented very flat. So like in this case, we have this hard drive, this SSD that's been designed where the edge of it, which does not stick out flat in the same plane as the top surface is represented in a way where it sticks out basically flat from the top surface. It's a very poorly designed icon. Um, Also, why change this icon to something that's so shockingly nondescript that it's not clear what this is? Uh, the old hard drive icon, while anachronistic, was still very clear what it represented. And if you're going to tell me, look, we needed to change this because we don't use spinning platter hard drives in our computers anymore, okay, then why do you use a floppy disk as the save icon in all your apps?
There you go.
Use what people recognize. Don't change it just because you think, oh, well, we don't use that thing anymore. We need to draw it as something else. Give people something they recognize and they know what it means, even if it's not the thing that they're physically using anymore. They still know what it means. This is where my files get saved.
Yeah.
This is a really bad idea.
I mean, drives are NVM type drives now. I mean, that's what you see in most laptops these days. Even in some desktops, they're using those types of drives now. So it's basically the size of a rectangle. I mean, I've got tons of external NVM drives, and it doesn't look anything like it. I don't even know what that looks like. You're right.
Yeah, I mean that doesn't look like an external drive to me. And if it's that's what it's supposed to be, well, then it still doesn't meet what Apple was going for, because you don't have an external drive in an enclosure inside your Mac.
Yep.
Sure. What it looks like is someone took a cheap enclosure off of Amazon and made the icon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate wanting to make sure everything looks modern.
Yeah.
This wasn't the way to do it.
Yeah. I'm siding with you, Jeff, on this. I think it's kind of disappointing. Chuck, do you have any thoughts about this?
I respect everything Jeff said, and
Thank you. You can stop there.
Yeah. I guess I sort of have some of the same feelings between this and the airdrop icon. In some ways, I'm sort of glad to see them give it a little bit of a fresh look. But could they be better? Yeah, they probably could be. I don't know what you would do with airdrop. In an icon, and Jeff, maybe you could enlighten us, but just the idea that we're not, because how many people outside of the tech community really even know what a hard drive looks like? I mean, like a raw hard drive looks like anymore. And so, this may not be the best icon in the world, but at least it's not completely anachronistic.
Yeah.
I stole Jeff's word. Because it's, again, I know I've looked at it a couple times for no real good reason and thought, okay, and just move on. It's one of those fleeting thoughts, but it's like, okay, this should look like something different. Now it does. It's not as good as it could be, but it's better than I think what it was. So it doesn't, and this is iOS 26 or OS 26, excuse me. So they need to try to up their game just a little bit, and maybe move it into the modern world. And Jeff, maybe in the next iteration or before the actual shipping version comes, maybe you'll get your wish.
Yeah,
we can live in hope. To push back a little bit, the save icon, the floppy disk icon. I mean, how many people actually know what that is? Most people that I've encountered that weren't alive, or at least using computers when you had floppy disks, which weren't actually floppy because they were in a hard plastic enclosure. Most people don't know what that actually is. It's a save icon to them. And it no longer represents what it originally was. It's just the symbol you use for save. And I think the hard drive icon is the symbol for my local files, and changing it to a nondescript box doesn't say my local files. And you're right, the spinning platter hard drive, this is way out of date, But does it matter if that's the thing that people recognize as the thing that tells them this is where my stuff is?
Yeah.
So I feel like you're trying to have it both ways, Jeff. You know, I look, I get it. I get both of them. The floppy disk is terribly outdated. But it's what now it has become what people know as saving. And so, you know, does it really matter if it's that or, you know, something else? I mean, that's where I get a little hung up on iconography and, you know, how much does it need to really represent? I mean, if I have a red box with a white outline on it, that what does that mean? Okay, it can mean anything I want it to be because I've designed it. And so if Apple says, okay, this is what it's going to be, we need to learn it, and there you go. You're right. It does not have that mnemonic feel to it, you know, and it doesn't trigger a reaction, but it is what it is. A rose by any other name and all that.
Yeah.
You
My
just
brother
hit
has
on
it right.
something.
Oh, I was gonna say my brother had it right. That look at the telephone icon.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
But Chuck, you totally nailed it when you said, what if it's a white box with a red outline? And we all know what it means. Exactly. That's it. It doesn't matter what the design is. If it's the generally accepted design that people know what it means. Like, what's a yellow triangle? It's an alert.
Alert.
And that even applies when you're driving down the road. You see a yellow triangle sign, that's an alert of some kind. And what does a red octagon mean?
Stop.
Well, in an app, it means you're stopping something. In your car, it means you're stopping something physical. Why are those the shapes, symbols, colors that we use? It's because over time, that's what society adopted. And that's where we are with the floppy disk as a save icon. And I feel like on Mac, a physical hard drive represents this is where my local stuff is. On Windows, a computer monitor where you literally don't save files is the image that you use, the iconography. I can't say the word tonight, I apologize. But the point is, a computer display, that's the image on Windows that you use to represent this is where my files are saved locally. Neither piece of hardware actually represents where your files are saved, but you know what it means when you see that icon.
Yeah, that being said, the good thing about Mac OS is you can still change your drive icons. And
Yes.
OWC literally has an entire page of custom icons for all their drives and instructions on exactly how to change it.
This is also, that's fantastic. I love that. And it's also a great place to give Icon Factory a shout out. My hard drive icon for my Mac is a Mac Classic, which is an icon from Icon Factory.
Okay, I can't leave that alone, Ben. And I apologize. Yes, I think it's very cool because I used to do that for a while. You know, you try to have an icon that matched your computer, your drive, whatever. But that makes it non-standard. And so if somebody else comes up to my machine and decides to try to use it, now it's like, what is that? So and I'm with, yeah, and I agree completely. It's very cool if you're a geek, but if you're not, then you know, it kind of flies in the face of what Apple has trained all of us to do. So yeah, I mean, these feel like circular arguments because 1 minute I feel like I'm taking one side, the next minute I'm taking another or the other. So it's going to be what it is.
Yeah. I come at it from a support person standpoint.
Yeah.
My aunt Mildred calls me and says, "Hey, how can I get to my hard drive?" And I say, "Oh, you see that thing that looks like, you know, this? Click on that." And now it doesn't look like anything. And so I don't know. You know, I whatever makes support easy is what I go for.
Jill, to build on what you just said, when your aunt calls you from her iPhone or her Android phone, whatever she uses, and says, "Where do I save these files?" And you tell her what to click on, and she says, "Jill, thank you. You're my favorite niece." You end the call. What does she do? She hangs up her phone, even though it's an iPhone or an Android phone where you tap a button to end a call.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and wrap up this conversation. Go, you got the last word, Eric.
So my only issue with it is it really looks like a battery. It looks like a power bank.
Yes, it does.
It does, yeah.
And you know, that I feel like it should have a charge indicator. Nothing in that says
Well, maybe the
storage.
3 black
There you go.
dots, that's the charge indicator, and it's
It's
empty.
that big.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, but Jeff, if it wasn't if it was colored, then Marty couldn't tell what color it is.
That is true.
Right?
So
So why does Apple diss on Marty like this all the time?
I don't know. I'm about ready to go Linux.
Oh boy.
On that note, let's go ahead and move on. So I decided to talk about this week. We don't normally talk a lot about politics on this show, but there was some pretty notable announcement that Apple made this week with Tim Cook and the president. And I wanted to make sure we had just gave it a little bit of coverage and talk about the investment that Apple is going to be doing with the American manufacturing program. And they are promising to spend over $600 billion. It's going to be increasing its investment in U.S. manufacturing with that dollar amount, with an additional $100 billion on top of the $500 billion that is promised to spend in the U.S. across 4 years, as they talked about earlier this year. But Tim Cook said, "Today we are proud to increase our investment across the United States to $600 billion over 4 years and launch our new American manufacturing program." This was Tim Cook's quote. He includes new expanded work with 10 companies across America that produces components that are used in Apple products sold all over the world. We're grateful to the president for his support. And America is establishing this American Manufacturing Program, or AMP, which the company says it's going to dedicate to bringing advanced manufacturing to the United States. Partners will include Corning, Coherent, Goldwafers America, Applied Materials, Amcor, Texas Instruments, Samsung, Golden Foundries, and Broadcom. So Apple also plans to use $2.5 billion of that fund to expand its partnership with Corning. Corning and Apple are working together to create the world's largest and most advanced smartphone class production line at a Corning's Kentucky factory. Apple says 100% of the cover glass on an iPhone and an Apple Watch model sold worldwide will be made in the U.S. soon. And Apple and Corning is also going to open up Apple Corning Innovation Center that will develop advanced materials to next generation manufacturing platforms. And then Apple is also going to be working over with several other companies in its manufacturing. There's a full list, and there's a link on the website here. I know this is, like I said, very political, but I wanted to make sure that we just talked about it and just an understanding based on what Apple decided. I think it was in their good in good interest because of the threatening tariffs. I understand that, but with all of us being Apple consumers, I don't want to be paying $3,500 for an iPhone if they're going to be forced to build the whole thing in the U.S. Seemed like a good compromise. I'm gonna start with Jeff on this. What are your thoughts?
You're starting with me to get me out of the way. I know it.
No.
Okay.
I know you'll be very good insight.
What I'm seeing here is a corporation playing the politics game.
Right.
And when you are in a position where you need to find a way to either eliminate or reduce the damage that you will suffer from policies that are being set either domestically or internationally, you play a game. And that's what I see happening here. Tim Cook is very good at playing this game. So he has pandered to the egos and wishes of various politicians, and So we've seen things like the current administration said, look at what Apple's doing. They're investing 500 billion in the United States after we started talking about whatever. Okay, in that case, Apple had already made the commitment before the current administration came into office. What's new with Apple's investment commitment for domestic production is the 100 billion that was announced this week. Um, the glass thing that plays into that as well. I actually think that's a logistic mistake on Apple's part. Uh, you want to be able to source critical elements from multiple locations, because if you have a single point, like in this case, all the glass is going to be manufactured in Kentucky for all iPhones worldwide. If there is a disruption in manufacturing or distribution out of the United States, then that halts iPhone production worldwide. You don't want to have a distribution system that's that brittle. So I think Apple would have been smarter to have their Kentucky facility that they're talking about, but then have another glass production facility that they're controlling somewhere outside the United States, maybe in Europe, um, wherever, but someplace outside the United States. Now they have two sourcing locations for a critical iPhone and iPad and Apple Watch production element.
Okay.
I could go on, but
No, thanks. I appreciate your insights, and I really wanted to hear your thoughts. I'm going to move with Chuck. I want to hear your thoughts on this decision this week.
I I think this is why we all better hope that Tim Cook doesn't retire from Apple anytime soon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because Tim is playing the game, and I agree with a large part of what Jeff said. I'll get to that in a minute. But I just, I look at other tech CEOs. The only thing Jeff said that I really didn't agree with was the word pandering, because I don't see it as pandering. I just see it as reacting to the environment as it is.
Right.
And the fact that, Apple is not going to waste 100 billion in doing
they are
this.
not.
They're going to get something out of it. If they had put 100 billion into something else or spread it out, maybe it would have been a little bit better return. But as it is, it's serving a dual purpose. Not only are they going to get something out of it just from the straight 100 billion and investing in these companies, they also get to avoid, at least for the moment, some of the nasty, unpredictable tariffs that are being thrown around.
Mm-hmm.
So from a business standpoint, I think it's brilliant. And to Jeff's point, the only thing I would say is that's what is being said, publicly. Privately, off to the side, I don't believe for a second that they're going to just pour all their money into Kentucky glass-wise. I think they'll have some other things somewhere else. It's just not going to get a lot of press, and it's not going to be nearly as high profile. But I think Tim is too good a supply chain guy for that. So
yeah, that's a really good point.
Supply chain is his forte.
Yeah, but I just, again, and I don't know if you paid any attention to this, and this is sort of on topic and off, but while Apple is doing this, Intel this week, maybe even today, has announced that they're kind of slowing down their investment in the U.S. and slowing down some things. And Trump turned around and suggested rather strongly that the CEO of Intel resign. So this is why we need Tim at the head of Apple. No question about it.
No question. All right, let me move on to Ben. I want to hear what you have thoughts on this.
Look, this is turning what was some pretty unreasonable demands of Apple into something a lot more reasonable. Yeah. They looked at the supply chain, saw what could be realistically manufactured in the United States, which is not iPhones. They slapped a nice big number on it, and then they did it within reason.
Yep. Okay. Marty, what to hear what you have to say.
A lot of it's already been said. I think the big quid pro quo was we will put 500 million, now 600 million into investment in building in the US. And what we get out of it is we get to avoid the semiconductor and the chip tariffs that they were talking about. And, you know, you do that on a spreadsheet and you figure out what the cost is going to be in terms of the investment that they're making. And I think they probably figured out the balance was in the favor of getting rid of or getting a pass on the tariffs in the meantime. Now, there's no designation on how long it has to take them to build it. They just have to have a commitment to building it. So I'm saying take about 3.5 years, maybe pour the foundation of the building. You're not going to be able to get steel anyways, because that's all being bought up by the Chinese and the Russians. And so
Well,
you know,
and the
we're going to have
tariffs on
trouble
importing
building.
from Canada.
Yeah. So,
All right. Eric, you had thoughts.
Yeah, being able to say that all the glass and all the iPhones is going to be made in the US and distributed everywhere is a really strong message that is very different from saying we have to build every iPhone or most of them in the US. So it's a way of kind of doing everything around the world is here without really putting it all here. The other thing is I didn't see any message or any mention of iPad glass. This is just iPhone.
Start.
So
iPhones start.
if you're doing, so if you're doing, glass for iPads and other spots, or you're fine tuning a process, you're going to put it in one spot. That doesn't mean that it won't show up in other places later. But the phrasing is important to kind of sell the concept.
Yep. Okay. Jill, you get to wrap this up.
Okay. I guess I take a different view of it. I get there's pandering, and I guess there, all the things that go into it. I come from blue collar manufacturing background, and I want to see America build things. I want to see us make things. And I think we saw during worldwide illnesses why things get stopped, because you can't get it here to there. And so I would love to see more manufacturing here, more building things here. And I think it's a great first step. I'm glad Tim Cook is a logistics guy, because I think he did find a good way of going about it. And I would love to see India have India factories. And I'm all for friendshoring and, putting plants in places that are our friends. And so I'm a big fan, and I'm happy to see every time a factory opens in the United States.
Agreed. I agree. Me too. So, all right. That was a good kind of good insight. We gave it the more Apple angle, and I'm glad we were able to get some insights about this topic. Also, Jill, you put this article in our show notes today, and now I can't see it anymore because it's on a firewall. Samsung's going to be producing image sensors for Apple's iPhone in Texas. Did you have a link to that we can read, or?
Oh yeah, let me go. So that was another.
You read it? If you read it, just go ahead and sum it up for us.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I added it because I thought it sort of related to that. But that Samsung is, which is a South Korean company, is going to be building sensors here in Texas too. So I'm not just fans of a great American company like Apple building things here. I'm happy with South Korean companies building things here too. So I thought, again, it's nice to see. It kind of goes in line with the last thing. But essentially, they're going to build a factory in Austin, Texas. Okay,
great. I think that's a good way to add just to that piece of it all. So, all right, let's go ahead and move on to the news this week. I'm excited about this. I have to get to the theater now. It's I didn't realize this. Apple TV Plus has a press site, and I now have it in my feed, so I can give you all some great news about what's going on with Apple TV Plus. This was a great release. It's lights out, and away we go back to IMAX. Apple's original films, blockbuster F1, the movie, was distributed by Warner Brothers Pictures. It's accelerates back into IMAX. Pre-sale tickets are now on for the high octane global hit, which is of course features Brad Pitt hailing for director Joseph Kosinski and Jerry Bruckheimer's films. It's gonna be great. I think we all got to run out and go see it before it leaves IMAX, because I know it's going to be a good experience. Marty, you didn't go yet, and you want to go, right? We got to find. Well, we all have to find theaters that are close by that we can go watch this, right?
Yeah, I went and saw it.
Oh, you saw it in
I-
IMAX. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else was wanting to see this movie?
I want to see it.
Yeah.
I want to see it too. So I
Yeah.
got to go find a local theater and like now, maybe this weekend.
I haven't been in a theater since 2 years
it's been a
before
while.
the pandemic. Right.
It's been a while. So Chuck, you're definitely gonna go, and Ben, are you gonna try? They're probably not IMAX stuff
I'm
in
going
your
to
area.
try. The nearest IMAX is in Madison.
So you've got a bit of
So-
a drive to get there.
Yeah. The good part is it's in the southern part of Madison. Well, it's actually in Fitchburg, but
Okay.
so that makes it a little bit easier to get to, but it's still a little bit of a drive.
Drive.
Jeff, Eric, you going to be interested in doing this?
I think so.
I'm still stuck on what to me is the bigger news here, which is that there's a separate PR site for Apple
Ah.
TV Plus that I didn't know
I was-
about until tonight. And when we're done, I have to go back into IFT and set up all new recipes
I know.
so that I'm getting information from here. I had no idea this was a thing.
This is
Um,
amazing. I'll transition to talk about this. I think it's important. I just started watching Platonic, but I love that show. It took about 2 years, I think, before the season 2 finally came out. It's with Seth Rogen and Rose Byrne. Absolutely hilarious comedy. I really love that show. And I started watching. I watched the first 2 episodes already, and so could check that out. And I know a couple other new shows, including Chief of War. That's Jason Momoa, and the Buccaneers, Invasion. Acapulco's got some new season 4. Foundation, I think you just mentioned, Ben. That's season 3.
Yep.
and
New
then-
new episode tonight.
Yeah. So there's I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, just when you watch an Apple TV Plus title of any of it, and they do the previews, and there's how many different shows that Apple has now is just crazy. I mean, well worth the minimal $10 a month if you have a standalone subscription for it. Just with just amazing content. I assume all you guys agree that, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So we get. So yeah, it's a new PR site, and I'll have a link in the show notes for it if you don't already have it. It's just apple.com/tv-pr, simple. And then you can, and anybody who likes to put news feeds in there, I put it right in, and it's right in my feeds now. So you can, it'll be much easier for the show for us to find out about more shows, and we can talk about it. So,
Right.
Jill, anything you wanted to add, Jill?
Oh no, I just think it's great because there is so many great things on there, and so I'm happy to see it.
So, and a couple other things I wanted to talk about. Here's how much it costs to sue Apple. I found this to be very funny and interesting. It's among legal battles among Massimo's rising litigation costs. This was released article was released yesterday. Mac Rumors medical technology company Massimino has been facing off with Apple since 2020. We're at 5 years since they had. And while Massimino had scored some wins, it's been a very expensive endeavor. In a quarterly earnings report, Massimo outlines how much it's spent on litigation and how it's spending. It reports its change over the last 5 years, and looking at its earnings and reports information. And executives give a look now how much legal fights can cost. Their case started in 2021. It was, of course, as we know, this is the Apple Watch import ban, where they forced Apple to remove the blood oxygen monitoring from Apple Watches sold in the U.S. That's why I kept my Series 9. And the first quarter of 2025, Massimino spent $19.7 million, and in its second quarter earnings results shared this week, it spent $24 million as well. And it could be on track to be spending even more, as it did in 2024. It says Massimino's legal expenditures have not been inconsequential. According to Massimino, in 2023, then CEO Joe Kiani told the Wall Street Journal that legal battles against Apple have cost Massimino over about $100 million. In 2 years since, costs have probably significantly increased. So this is Chuck's favorite subject of lawsuits. What do you think on this?
At some point, somebody's going to make a business decision to say it's not worth it. And
I hope so.
this is one that, you you better be darn sure you have a case if you're going up against Apple, because they have an awfully large war chest,
Right.
They do.
and they have they have probably more lawyers than that people that live in my town, and so you've. I guess if you can get public sentiment on your side, maybe there's something to it, but it just and this is true of any large company. It's not just Apple. And I, for one, would be happy to see somebody, just give up. Maybe it would send a message to some of the other people that are just wasting time and money suing Apple over frivolous things. Because as I recall the facts of this case, it was far from clear. Now, I could be wrong about that, but that's my recollection. It was far from an open and shut case.
Yeah. And
Marty?
in this case,
Oh, Ben,
where
go ahead, Ben.
Massimo technically won because of the injunction, they are losing so much money on legal fees that they would have been far better off financially if they took whatever deal Apple had offered for licensing.
Agreed.
Marty?
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing as Ben, excuse me. When you go up against Goliath and Goliath says, "Hey, we'll settle." And they could have done that a long time ago. I think it's put the past CEO in bad light. It's put the current CEO also, will put them in bad light. The longer this drags out, they need to come to the table and settle for probably a fraction of what they've already paid in legal fees.
Yep. Jill, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm confused by it because I think that they saw a company with deep pockets and thought, we'll get something from this. And they should have settled because it's, I just don't see the sense in it.
I was reading something on stocks. I'm sorry, where Massimo also has very deep pockets in terms of their stock and their stock evaluation. So maybe that's what kept him in the fight so long.
Yep. Eric, what do you think?
I just want to be able to get an updated watch.
Yeah.
With an oxygen sensor.
I agree.
Yeah, same here.
And I had high hopes that this last round would lead to a settlement, and it didn't. So I think ultimately I will just have to make a decision of what part of the day do I need an oxygen sensor, and I'll keep my old watch for sleep monitoring and then switch to a new watch. And then I won't have that hour of no watch as I'm waiting for it to charge at night.
I'm doing that too. I sleep with my old watch because that's where I'm more worried about it, is not during the day where I'm pretty sure I breathe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good point.
Yeah. So, a couple of things with streaming and Xfinity. Xfinity email. I've told people for years, please get off of Xfinity email. You don't Comcast email. You shouldn't be using an internet service provider's email. Sure enough, in June of this year, Xfinity announced that they're shutting down their email service for all these years. That's going back, got to be 40 years at least, of all the changes they've had over the years. So what are they going to do? They're making it even worse. They're moving it to Yahoo Mail. So now you have to go through this whole rigmarole of being able to convert you can keep your email address because that's what everybody's concerned about. I got to have that Comcast.net email address. I've given it out to everybody. I don't know how to change it. And I've got a friend that I've explained to him many times. It's very simple. You just moved your Gmail account that you set up when you had your Android phone, which now he has an iPhone. And it's very simple to just move it over. They're providing some easy tools. You can export mail. You can everything transitioned over, or you can just convert it, or just don't do anything and it shuts down. What's coming soon? They're talking about in September at this point. We're in August of 2025 as we record here. That you, as a PSA here, if you didn't already get the email from Comcast Xfinity, make sure you're doing this. It's important, and I haven't used Comcast email in like forever. And it was such a spam magnet as it was anyway. Well, Yahoo's even worse, honestly. So that's who they decided to partner with, only because I think AT&T does that too. And if you're an AT&T subscriber, which I am, and I made sure blatantly I don't want your email address at all. I'm not using it. Go away from me. Because they partner with Yahoo and using Yahoo's interface. And Yahoo's had so many changes over the years, and it's not even near what it used to be.
No.
So PSA on this, and don't you all agree? Have, at the very least, have a Gmail account. I think it's the one of the most legit ones that you could have. Any thoughts on this?
My wife has an AT&T mail that she switched over to Yahoo, and it has become my problem child.
Spam. Lots of it.
I had 90-year-old friends get moved over from AT&T to Yahoo, and it has been my problem and my friend's problem. Yeah, it's a problem.
It's going to be my problem helping my friend too, because he'll keep asking me about it. And it isn't just customers of Comcast. If you've left the Comcast like I am, well, technically not. I have my other our summer home. I pay for the cable there. But for those who don't have an account, like in his case, he hasn't had a Comcast account in a long time as he moved out of the state. So, Comcast was allowing you to keep the email, which I kept telling him, no, you need to move to Gmail, and he just didn't want to do it. I'm like, okay, then you just keep it. Well, now his hand is forced. So probably what will end up happening, he'll just move it to Yahoo, like everybody else is being asked to do, and he'll get to keep his email address and live happily ever after, right? Anybody else want to add anything to this?
I'm going to toss an acronym out there for all the people that insist on using a Comcast email address.
Yeah.
FAFO.
Fool around and find out.
Right.
Oh, yeah, the kids' version. Yep.
That's right.
I would just throw in, it's not that.
Yeah.
First of all, you already have certainly an Apple address.
Right.
And so, but if you aren't comfortable with that, then spend just a little bit of money, buy your own domain and an email package to go with it from a decent provider, and you've got it. And then it's yours, and it can never be taken away.
It's amazing how
Unless you
many
don't pay.
people will not spend money on a service like that.
Yeah, it is. It is. And yet, email, I mean, how prevalent is email in your life?
Yeah.
Right.
Is there anybody that can say it's not prevalent in their life?
Yeah.
Right. I have done exactly what you said, Chuck, and I did it long ago. I bought a domain name, and that's my thing, and I'm paying for an email service provider, and that's it. If it's critical, if it matters, then you should be in control of it. If it's a free thing, even if it's an iCloud account, you're actually not in control of it, and it could disappear at any time.
Agreed.
I had Charter forever, Charter email, and I ended up switching to live.com with that same thought, and it has been a nightmare. They delete emails I say is not junk mail. Real things that are important, including their own emails about Office, which I don't even understand. Real ones, not fake ones. And but anyway, so I went, because of Macstock last year, got fastmail.com, because I just said,
There you
this is
go.
so important. I have to have my email. I almost missed when I got this new job 2 years ago. Charter was marking it as spam and deleting it, and I could not get them to stop doing it. And I'm like, I need this job.
Yeah, for sure. Couple things in the streaming world here I wanted to mention. There was big news this week that ESPN bought the NFL Network and the NFL Red Zone, and in turn they get the NFL gets 10% stake in ESPN. ESPN, of course, the biggest, one of the largest sports networks out there. They're very close to starting their own standalone app, so that's going to be coming out very soon here. So and then you got to question, okay, are your cable companies and YouTube TV and others, are they going to be able to keep it? Well, I had an article here that they said at first that YouTube TV is going to get it. I'm a YouTube TV subscriber, so I was kind of excited to see that and to have all the channels, because they're going to really work this through big time here. In fact, NFL, the NFL is going to actually also get a 10% stake of CBS, which is now you see the both of the networks that they have their games on, they're going to have some stakes in it. So the streaming landscape and the network landscape has changed dramatically. Of course, we know that Paramount Plus and Skydance is now the owner of Paramount Plus and CBS. So that's a whole nother ball of wax there, and they better not touch Star Trek. That's all I got to say. I'm sure all you agree as well with me. So what also is going to get, like I said, at first they had said that it's going to be on YouTube TV, but it technically isn't going to be, because now they still have to negotiate a new contract with YouTube TV to allow ESPN to be still on that network. And I think it'd be in YouTube TV's best interest to probably want to keep that, because that will take a big chunk of the sports program that's on there now away from that. Besides the fact they already have an NFL Sunday Ticket and an NFL Red Zone available. So, Ben, what do you think? This is sports related.
Interesting. I think they're the first to do it, and next I think MLB and the NBA are going to want to cut these networks as well. But it's a good way to solidify a partnership through an uncertain landscape.
Very much so.
The only thing we know for certain right now is that cable is in its death knells.
It is, which has been ongoing for a while. Comcast.
The other thing we want to know, the other thing we know, that people who are not named Jeff Gamet want sports.
Yeah, it's those costumes.
Right. Dave, you hear me. That means a lot.
I do. Anybody else want to add anything to this? Okay.
Just interested to see how it all pans out.
Me too.
Cable sports. It's going to be interesting ride.
Yep. All right. And a couple announcements. Well, this is really an announcement. This is notable. Tim Cook became Apple's long-serving CEO as of August 1st, 2025. He has surpassed Steve Jobs with 5,091 days at the helm at Apple. So he has been the longest tenured CEO, I believe. I don't think any other CEO has been ahead of Apple other than him. So that's interesting. I don't know who put that in our show notes, but
I did. That came from Wikipedia, but I don't know. Like I said, I see faces. So, but
there's a good. I appreciate you putting that in there. Yeah, that's interesting. As of the discussion we had about Tim this week. So, couple announcements before we go. I want to give a shout out to Phil F., who works a coworker at my company. I appreciate you, Phil, for buying me a bunch of coffee at intouchwithios.com/coffee. And he really said he enjoyed our episode 380, which is the last week's episode, and he said it was really a really great episode. So he supported us, and I appreciate that immensely. That was a really nice gesture on your part. And then last announcement, we want to continue to talk about MacStock. MacStock 9 has wrapped up, and we're still waiting on the videos. I know Mike Potter's working hard to get those out in for the digital pass. Be sure you go to the website, which is macstockconferenceandexpo.com. The link's in the show notes, so go right to the digital pass and purchase that. You'll be able to relive all the great presentations that we did. Most people here did speak, yes, except Ben and Eric. But yes, but there's some great presentations to relive and watch, and you'll learn a lot of stuff. So please go to that website and support MacStock. MacStock 10 was already announced, so next year, July 10th, 11th, and 12th of 2026. It can't come soon enough. We're super excited to see everybody again and have some great fun. Doesn't everybody agree that with MacStock? We miss it already, don't we?
We do.
Oh yeah.
So,
A lot of fun.
Thanks so much. And this, like I said, a great episode. Appreciate everybody here that's on the show this week, and you for listening as well. So that's a wrap for this week. Please send your comments, questions, and suggestions to our email address at feedback@intouchwithios.com. You can follow us on Blue Sky and Mastodon. It's at In Touch with iOS. Support the show like Phil did this week. Buy me a coffee at intouchwithios.com/coffee. We'd really appreciate it. You can also become a Patreon of the show by going to patreon.com/intouchwithios. We have 2 tiers to support the show. We'd really appreciate it. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe so you're notified when we're live streaming, which is Thursday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific. We got Head Witherbucket and Brian F. and a number of others were in the chat hanging out with us while we recorded, so please come check us out. It's on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/intouchwithios, where you can watch the current and past live streams as well as to listen to past shows. You visit In Touch with iOS magazine on Flipboard, where many of the articles and topics we discuss are flipped in that magazine. The link is in our show notes. You can subscribe to the show in your favorite podcatcher, including Apple Podcasts, Pocket Casts, Overcast, and many others. But better yet, just go to our website, intouchwithios.com, where all the links to all the ways to listen to us are on that site. I am Dave Ginsburg, and you can find me on Blue Sky and Mastodon at DaveG65. And we will want to thank Ben Rathick. So glad you were able to make it back here. It was quite a long time since we've had you back, and I hope we have you back more. Where can people find you?
Well, you can find my writings and ravings when I actually post them on rathick.tech.com. You can also find me occasionally in such shows as Mac Voices Live with Chuck Joyner when I'm not sick on Tuesdays. The Mac and Big shows on the British Tech Network. Sorry, Ewan. And on social media at Ben Rathick.
Thanks, Ben. Appreciate you being here. And Chuck Joyner, thank you always for being here. We really appreciate it. Where can people find you?
Hey, thank you, Dave, for having me as always. Find me on Mac Voices at macvoices.com. That's where you'll hear everybody. You'll hear me, but you'll also, more importantly, hear the people I'm talking to. And we have had some great ones this week. There's some really good ones coming up next week as well. So check it out. As has been mentioned, YouTube Live, Mac Voices Live on YouTube. Boy, I'm like you, Dave, twisted tonight. Mac Voices, youtube.com/MacVoicesTV at 8 p.m. Eastern. And on all the socials, you can find me as at Chuck Joyner.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Joe McKinley, thank you always for being here. So excited that we have you on here regularly, and we appreciate you being here. Where can people find you?
I'm excited to be here. I am working on a website that is coming soon, but right now you can find me at Jill from the small or startwithsmallsteps.com. That's my main website. You can find me on YouTube if you look for Jill from the North Woods. That usually find all my podcasts there, and I have one coming out every day.
Thanks, Jill. Marty Gensius, thank you for being here. You're always great to be here. I appreciate that. And where can people find you?
You find me on Monday nights live streaming at 9 p.m. Eastern Time with Dave and with Eric on Vision Profiles, and Tuesdays with Chuck on Mac Voices, Thursdays here, and all the other projects I'm involved in you can find at thepodtalk.net. The website, thepodtalk.net, and connect with me on Mastodon at Gensius, JENCIUS at mastodon.social. Same name at Blue Sky.
Great. Yeah, and I went through Vision Profiles withdrawals we missed last week, but I'm looking forward to next week.
Yeah, yeah. There's and we're getting lots of news coming out this week too, which is great. Good. So
we even had a couple here this week that were really good. So
yeah.
And Jeff Gamet, thank you for being here as always, and your insights with specific with design and giving that to us. Where can people find you?
Well, when I'm not ranting about Apple's design failures, you can find me on social media, J Gamet everywhere. I'm posting mostly right now on Mastodon, Blue Sky, and PixelFed. And then for shows, Tuesdays, Chuck lets me join in on Mac Voices Live. Here on Thursdays, Dave, you let me join in for In Touch with iOS. The British Tech Network, The Big Show, and The Mac Show. Brian Chaffin and I, we do The Context Machine, and Patrice Brendamore and I do Retro Rewatch. And for those of you that have been following along with Retro Rewatch, we are about to jump into Season 3 of Stargate SG-1.
You only have 7 more seasons.
Yes.
Right?
And 14 other Stargate series.
Yeah.
Also that.
Yes,
the show's going to be going for a long time. And last but certainly not least, thank you, Eric. I know you were traveling. Appreciate you being here. Eric Bolden, where can people find you?
I can be found on Mastodon at EA Bolden at mas.to, and Mondays on vision profiles for my Vision OS fix. Tuesdays, Mac Voices for my Mac OS fix, and of course, here on Thursdays for my iOS, iPad OS, and so on fix.
Yes. Thank you so much, Eric. Thank everybody here for listening, for watching. Thank everybody that was in the chat room this week. Appreciate it. And until next time, it'll be next week because we'll be here. And then and I appreciate you listening and watching, and we'll talk again soon. Hey, thank you. All right, you have to tell us what you're going to say about the watch. I'll let that go. That you didn't want to talk about.
Oh, I'll be right
about-
back. I have to put the bird to bed.
The super condensed version. I think I think Massimo called Apple's bluff in the beginning because Apple did what they always do, which is do what they want, and then budget for potential lawsuits if those come up. And Massimo decided, yeah, we're going to do that. And then Apple said, great, let's negotiate. And then Massimo said no. And as soon as Massimo said no, Apple switched from we'll talk with you and we'll throw money your way and it'll all be fine to all right. You know that that acronym Jeff just threw out a minute ago, FAFO? Well, that's your life. And Massimo dug in their heels, and Apple is playing the long game with this. They didn't take the hardware out of the watches. They just disabled the feature only in the United States. And Apple will continue to grind on Massimo for years. And Massimo will continue to lose money in this. Don't forget, Massimo is having to pay money to have smartwatches manufactured that no one is buying, because if they don't have that physical product, it makes a core part of their case just crumble. So Massimo is producing and purportedly selling a smartwatch that's hot garbage.
Wow.
that it's costing them money. They have to be taking a loss on these smartwatches every quarter, and Apple is fine with that, and they will continue to let Massimo burn money, millions of dollars every quarter, to let this play out, and then eventually, either Massimo just gives up and says, okay, let's cut a deal, and it's not going to be the deal that Apple offered them in the beginning, or they're going to hit a point where it makes sense for them to sell off assets, and some of those
And they
assets
already
will be
have.
sold to Apple. Yeah, but yeah, they may hit a point where they can't they can't continue without just selling off pretty much everything.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
And
basically it's a
they-
medical device. I mean, you have to go,
Yeah.
you have to get a consultation and do it with a doctor. It's not even a
Right.
simple watch like the Apple Watch is. I mean, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
But they used to own a lot of high-end audio brands.
Ah,
Well, they just sold all those brands to Samsung's audio division.
Yeah, how about that? So that's my super condensed version of Massimo. This doesn't
would
end
fit.
well for Massimo,
No.
regardless of whether or not they were in the right in the beginning. They made choices, and those choices will not play out well for them.
Yep. And speaking about choices, I have two cats that are letting me know they're not happy that I'm on this call right now. So
great
I
to see
gotta
you, Ben.
take care of them.
No problem. Thanks for being here.
Good to see
Take
you
it
again.
easy,
Later,
Ben.
guys.
Good to see you,
See you,
Ben.
Ben.
Hope to
Bye.
see you again.
See you, Ben.
So I just threw into the chat room a link from the Massimo site,
Yeah,
consumer product support and warranty. Please note that all Massimo consumer products have been discontinued.
Ooh,
Oh,
bye-bye.
huh. It includes the watch that no one was buying.
The W1 smartwatch. Wow.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
That's a wrinkle that that I hadn't anticipated.
Now,
So this
Yeah.
is going to be a problem for, excuse me, for their part of their patent argument.
Yeah.
let me see here.
It's
So-
WebEx is in the chat. Hey, Web, if you're still there.
Yeah. So Jeff, is interesting. The Massimo W1 is continuous patient data in a medical watch, but the Massimo W1 Sport Watch has been discontinued. So it appears that this is strictly a medical device.
Oh,
Oh, the
Okay.
Okay, so I
It's
mean,
a medical device, right?
now,
well,
don't-
they might still be able to assert their part of their argument, but you know the argument has been about the consumer product,
I was going
or
to,
at
and
least they were using consumer product as part of their argument. There we go.
yeah, now on the W1 page, it does not give you a price. You can schedule an evaluation and see how Massimo W1 can make a difference in your healthcare organization. Please fill out the following information and a Massimo representative will be in touch with you.
Well, yeah, because this isn't something you and I go by. This is something our healthcare provider buys.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna say goodbye to the live stream. Goodbye, everybody.